Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. Today we're going to take a look at the Tangle and Nzeppel by Zentangle. Now this is actually a redo. This was one of the first videos that I had done, and it kind of spawned the idea of doing a Zentangle Quickie. It stemmed from having a conversation on our Facebook community and our Tangle Addicts Facebook community, and it was kind of like to answer a question. And so here we are, many videos later. We also started doing this 100-day project and have continued past that into a daily tangle. So I'm going to be continuing to do these and try to not, actually I'm not going to duplicate any of, so we'll see how long we go. So this was not on our list of our 100-day project or this, so I want to make sure that we get it on our list and we enjoy doing it. And that I also do a redo because I looked at the quality of that video and it was horrible. So, all right, so this one is a grid pattern. And I'm going to start off, I might make mine a little bit curvy, I don't know. But I'm going to start kind of in the middle. I need to make this big because you don't want to be here all day. Well, no, I would just pause the video. You don't want to be here all day with me as I tangle this. All right. So there's two ways to do this, and I'm gonna just show the one today. So you do your grid, and then we're going to cross the other direction. And when I do this, I like to go from intersection to intersection to intersection. And a lot of times I'll pause like that just to see and make sure that I don't do something like that. Oops, and let's make sure that we get this one. Also trying to keep that same curve, and there's that, and that, oops, and up here as well. This is what I do what happens when I just go off the page. All right, then we're going to cross again. Actually, you know what, maybe I'll do, I guess it's not going to matter. All right, so starting here, going intersection to intersection. This is a nice way to think about it, so that way, as you're doing it, you don't, like I said, well, I can't even find the one I missed, so a lot of times it's not even a big deal if you do that. All right. Well, I have ended up with some, I was hoping to make it a little bit bigger, but I did not. So anyway, I'll have to put a pause in and finish it is what I'm going to guess. All right, so this one is neat, whereby we are going to trace over the lines that we're doing. Oh, you know what, first, if you can imagine soap bubbles, picture soap bubbles inside a grid. So if there were soap bubbles, if this was, I don't know, some kind of a hard grid in a pan of soap. Imagine a soap bubble and how it would fit into this triangle. It's not going to fit tightly into those corners, right? So if you channel your inner bubble, and we're going to trace over the lines and then, fit them in to the corners as you think you can. And again, there's no real rhyme or reason for how, it's up to you how closely you get those to that corner. But that's the objective. And we're tracing over. We're not just doing, cutting off the corners, No. We are tracing over those lines as such. And actually, so it will notice the difference. So here I've traced it over. Here I only traced over one line, but it makes an enormous difference when we trace over it. And also remembering that the idea of Zentangle, besides, we really make some cool art, but this is about the patterns and about finding ways to just kind of escape life to, as a meditation tool, as a mindfulness tool, whichever way. Oh, this is so funny. I think I missed going through there. Oh, but that's okay. That would have made it really small, or maybe I didn't. No, I don't know. Either way, it does not matter. But, Zentangle was started as a way to teach meditation through art. And And that's why we have these repetitive patterns. Now, and as you see that I'm finishing this, or, filling it out on my way to finishing it, it's neat where you have gone over the grid lines because it's thicker there. And so it makes a nice contrast just in and of itself between that and the intersections. And you won't achieve that by just, saying, oh, here, I'll just do this, or I'll just do that. It's like, no, that's not the way the tangle is done. And at the same time, everybody can do it the way they want to do it. I just think that it's having this, that extra thickness in between is just really neat. And then too, if you do something like that, so it's kind of like built-in course correction. And I'm kind of going off the page here, but like so. All right. And I might not finish all of this here because I think you get the idea. And we just, we've I say that, I'm like, okay, there was something else I wanted to add, and I was going to add it while I was doing this, so that way it made sense. Let me just finish these couple little bits. So this is a nice tangle as a fill-in. And I don't know, it's just a really, really cool tangle. I love the way it looks when, you have them all filled out, or filled out, whatever I want to call it. And just that the intersections look so neat the way they are. Now, I've had the question, can you fill those in? Well, of course you can. You can, the neat thing about Zentangle is once you learn the tangle, then you can, change it up if you want a little bit. I think it's good to stay within the guidelines of the tangle and, and see what creativeness that you can have with that. Well, since I'm almost done here, I was going to pause, but I'm not going to now. Thanks for listening to me yammer. All right. Because I went off of the edge instead of doing a little border, which would have, oh, look at how neat that looks. If I had done the border, then it would have been a little bit smaller. But then I also would have been tempted to make it even smaller, and then that's not good. So in the description box, before I forget, is a link to the step outs. And there you will see what happens when because I'm like, I really should redo that because you can see how to do it, but the example I have where I filled it all in is so small. All right, so this is one way to do it in more of a straight grid, okay? Another way you can do it is, and I'm going to try to make this extra big. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath because this is being random, and that is not me, but I'm going to do my best to be random and try to enjoy it. And I'm making a star. And now I'm adding extra lines to it. So, Zentangle is so fun because I look at it. There are many things myself that I'm working on through Zentangle. One of them is this, I call it spontaneous creativity issues that I have. And, okay, I'm going to leave it at that. So, oh, no, wait, I'm not. I just need to have something right there. All right, same idea. We're going to fill this in with these bubbles. So this is even doing a string for those that are familiar with the methodology of Zentangle, where we do the four corners, the border, the string. I always have an issue with that string, and just doing something just like off the top of my head type of thing without guidance. And actually, interestingly, I think it was maybe it was the Book of Zentangle from Maria Thomas and Rick Roberts, and Rick had said something similar that, and Maria said, she had trouble understanding. It's like, well, how could you have a problem with that? And some of us do. Some of us do, and it's okay. So what's neat is that we can all work on our on the different creativity issues that we might have. And maybe you're just super creative and this is just an extra outlet to practice some ideas. I know some have said it kind of frees up the thought process, the creative thought process, because there's no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle. So it also helps, us to think creatively about, well, if I don't like what I just did, what way can I go about doing something about it without using an eraser? Because we don't use erasers in Zentangle. Although I was joking, I said we don't use erasers in Zentangle unless you're making step outs. Then it's different. Everything's off the table. Just kidding. All right, we're just going to make this a giant one. And what gets difficult with some of these is like when you have this like long corner here, and then you just have to really work to separate that so that way your bubble doesn't quite fit in, even though your pen could. All right, and we're gonna call that an off there and off there, and there we go. And doesn't that look neat? So there, comparison, it's same concept. Oops, and let me back this up a little bit now that we're done with that. Yeah, so two ideas in the framework, or in the what we're calling grids, reticula, the container, and while it's the same thing, it's a really, really neat tangle that it's so versatile like this. And then for shading, some of the things that you can do, I'll take this one here. Now, I can't remember if I've had people ask about, oh, can we color those in? You can do whatever you want, frankly. But I'm going to just do a little bit of shading here. This is similar to what I've done with some other things, where I'm adding some graphite on one side, and with the tortillon, spreading it out. Now, let me just do this. So you could just leave it. And, and it doesn't matter what side, for whatever reason. I just picked all of this, these, right in this corner. Ooh, see, and that looks neat. Or it can take it all the way around that edge. Might have to add a little bit more graphite. I could grab some of the pen ink because it's still a bit wet. But, you can also do like that, where you kind of go around the perimeter a bit. So shading is, it's a fun thing. Or you can leave it. I mean, you don't have to shade it either. You could leave it like this. You could just shade around the perimeter if you wanted to. That's, again, up to you. This is a completed tile that I had done. And, I did more around the edges, and then added a little bit of color with some pen lines to make a little water droplet or gem, whichever way you want to call it, just to have a lot of fun. So anyway, with that, hope you enjoyed this, and I'm glad to make this, a part of our, the official list of daily tangles on our Tangle Addicts community, and also to reshare it and have it look a little bit nicer. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up are greatly appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed yet and liked this enough to want to see more, feel free to click the subscribe button, and then also hit the notification bell that's next to it so you can select how you want to be notified. And again, in the description, you'll find the link to my step outs, as well as ways to connect if you so desire. And with that, I wish you lots of happy tangling. All right, have a good night.